Hello, and welcome to Life in Runes. I'm Lila Unique Allen, and this will be the weekly reading. I hope your week has been as fruitful and awesome as mine has. It feels like it's been a very long time since we've done this, so at this point, just sit back and relax. Please make sure you have a few minutes of privacy, if that's what you need. And heave in a breath and push it all out. And relax. And let the body fill itself with air. And inhale through the nose. Exhale through the mouth. Again, inhale through the nose, following its gentle passage to the back of the throat and down through the lungs and feeling the diaphragm expand. And exhale, feeling all the interesting tension bits that go out with the breath, leaving a nice tingly feeling behind. And one more time, inhale, expanding, bringing your attention to this time and this place. And exhale all the outside distractions. And as you let your body continue breathing on its own in a comfortable fashion, we shall see what the word is for the coming week. It's a big word this week. Alright, so we will start at the bottom, closest to the client, you, the reader, or the person the message is for, which is us actually. So, the very bottom, below the chain, would be EihwazR reversed. EihwazR being the rune of bridges or connections, walking between two worlds. Reversing indicating worlds that either needed to maintain their separation or not being able to find a connection between the two, if you were looking. The next rune is EhwazR reversed. EhwazR is the rune of flow, of things moving together. So EhwazR reversed would indicate things moving each at their own pace, or perhaps in opposition. We have JeraR reversed, JeraR being the harvest. So it is an indication of no harvest or no return, but it's also an indication of imbalance in a way, as JeraR means what you put in is what you get out. So that might not be the case. Perthro, voice lessons. Anyway, Perthro is the rune of outside influences, chance coming in, other people's advice or words. So, in the coming week, in a coming situation, perhaps based on something that we worked with last week, which was, if I'm remembering correctly, we did work on not having things connected. What place would it be better not to connect? What place has a bridge that actually didn't need one? Or were people asking for bridges or connections that you didn't really feel like supplying at the time? So in that situation, it looks like that situation is moving forward for another step. in that situation where there are the separate worlds, the separate ideas, for something as simple as a personal spiritual practice, trying to meld mind, body, and spirit, and still having a hard time vocally, since that's a lot of what I did last week, trying to meld the top of the range to the bottom of the range, and getting some information, being able to work on them separately perhaps, but not being able to bridge that connection. And perhaps it still wasn't time yet, since last week it was about not really doing that. So, about that situation. For this week, I would say these are the questions to ask. These are the perceptions through which to look at the situation. Which things are not in flow together in these disparate worlds that I assume eventually wish to come back together, since we are still in the topic? Which things are really out of sync, like different pitches, or moving at different vibrations, or one's doing a 3/4 time and one's doing 4/4. Sorry, yeah, I did a lot of music last weekend. Perhaps speaking different languages or coming from different cultures. Please understand that even if we are speaking a language all that has the same name, if we're all speaking English, we still all can come from different cultures. The southern culture versus the northern one. Things that people do in one city that they don't do in another. So if you are looking at a project that has people from different departments, perhaps, each department has their own little code words, their own little tools, their own ways of doing things. So which parts of the project are out of flow? Is everybody using the same language or meaning the same things, coming to that agreement on the same page? Is everybody singing the same song? Is everybody heading to the same place with the same goal in mind? So what things are out of flow? Now remember, out of flow is not a good thing or a bad thing. It simply is a thing. It doesn't have to stay in flow. Or maybe it works better to be slightly discordant, or to have the really fast underneath and a really slow on top, rather like a river or body of water. River? Still waters run deep. Okay. JeraR, the harvest. Again, reversed. So perhaps that indicates that this project is not ready to produce anything at this time. There is still blending and harmony, or things to be worked out. Or it could mean that the outcome is not necessarily equal to what is put into it. It's another question perhaps to ask. Is the energy flow, the dedication, the work that goes into one of the circles or any of the circles equal to the outcome that you want, the harvest that you desire, what it's going to produce? And again, is that what you want, or is it okay that it's not? Does more go in the beginning and then you get a very slow trickle at the end? Or are you looking for something to be set up so that it just requires a little energy for a whole bunch of output? And again, are those things in sync? Because things that are out of sync will have different production values, different rates. More air to one note could mean less air to another. Therefore, you need to work for the even distribution to get the even harvest. So it all depends on what you want your outcome to be. And this might be a good time to get outside information, to have somebody from the outside come in and look at your project, because they are, again, not involved in any of it. So they can say, that doesn't look anything like that, or that really sounds one way and that sounds another. They do sound like they mesh, or they sound really good being discordant. Or, yeah, that skirt really does not match that shirt. So, trying to expand our different types. I realize I did not zoom in. Oh, and you can't even see EihwazR down on the bottom. Alright, so to show you what I'm talking about, this is the base below the chain. This is the EihwazR reversed. Our situations or worlds that were separate last week, or that we decided to keep separate. So that's the EihwazR reversed. This is the EhwazR reversed. Yes, they are spelled slightly differently. What things are out of flow? Do they need to be in flow? Perhaps they need to move further out of flow. What is creating that dissonance? Is it a good thing? Is it wrong? Often it could be language, everybody having a different idea or a different goal. So what are the differences that create that dissonance? Let me move on over to JeraR reversed, which is an indication perhaps that the harvest is not coming, that there will be no production from this project or idea this week. It could also be another form of focus. What kind of production do you really want from the whole project? What kind of input do you want versus output, balance-wise? Is it going to be an equal? Is that okay? And the final one. Is Perthro. Perthro, the rune of outside influence, things kind of beyond your control, indicating that it would be a good time to get some outside input, somebody else's point of view, or even just that outside view, seeing everything as a whole, even though we have all these different parts and pieces that are still unequal. See if I can get them all. Okay, so trying to sum up. Project we were thinking about last week, most likely. This pertains to still a situation or an event or a decision that has to do with matching or melding different worlds. Whether it is in music, creating harmonies, or in business, different parts of the project, or any kind of project that creates or desires different components to be added to it. It could be a project writing chapters, or it could be clothes, trying to find the perfect outfit. So remember, it doesn't have to be a big thing. It's not necessarily a small thing, especially since it feels like it's carrying over. But whatever this between the worlds event was, the decision whether or not to bridge or to let them each work on their own and kind of do and live and love their own thing. This week, the focuses seem to be on what is discordant between them. And does that still create the effect that you wish, or is it something that needs to be addressed? Is it language? Is it singing the same song? Is it working for the right weather, if we're talking about clothes. Or perhaps if you're cooking, are all the dishes from the same, I don't know, base, savory versus sweet versus salt. Yes, I have no idea what I'm talking about. Dairy versus non. So, which things are out of flow? Which things are out of phase? Which things might not necessarily go together in the immediate view? Is that, in your truth, the effect you're going for or not? JeraR reversed. The harvest is not going to be this week. It's still not quite ready to produce. Therefore, it's a good idea to have a test run, or test subjects. Have somebody else look in from the outside and maybe help with the tweaks and say, no, really, those stripes don't go with those spots. Or, oh yeah, I like that idea. The harvest may not be quite balanced the way one would expect, the energy going in not matching the energy coming out. Again, is that the effect you wish? Is that okay with your truth? Or is that something to work on? And again, an outside opinion, somebody's outside view, or even you taking all these projects, all these steps, all this, getting it put together and looking at it from the unemotional, the objective, the outsider point of view, if you can do it. Sounds like it's going to be an interesting week, but kind of nice that it is continuing with our growth, the projects that we were working on, building things one on top of the other. Yeah, just gotta condense it one more time. Something we were doing last week. What is it that is not in flow that perhaps prevents, or is it a good thing that they are discordant? Do you wish the energy output to equal the energy input? And if so, what is not quite there yet? This is probably not the week where you are going to get harvest from whatever this project is. But it might be a good time to get some outside opinion through the test group or the beta group, or a rehearsal, as it were, and see what it looks like from the outside, with or without this discordant flow. Thank you very much, and I hope you have a great day. I also hope you have a great week.